so welcome back to Studio 39, aka the Bear Cave. I'm Rob Odie. Just like we do every time, we got another young man with another story to share. But before we get into that, please continue to hit that subscribe button. Continue to share on all your social media. And let's do one better. Hit that little bell, comment down below. Tell us what you want us to do on the show. Tell us who you want to have on the show. Hell, just tell me what you think of the show. That way we can continue to grow, continue to get better, continue to get more exposure on these student athletes, all right? With that being said, man, let's get into it. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, and we'll go from there, all right?
All right. My name is Cory Williams. My nickname's Chops. I got at a young age. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. Uh, I'm 5'10", 260 pounds. Class of 2021. Newly committed to the University of Pikeville.
University of Pikeville. Okay, so you say class of 21, and you're down in Tennessee, relocated from Detroit, right? So how long you?
Yes, sir. I just got down here we moved at the end of my sophomore year. So I spent my first 2 years at West Bloomfield High School. Originally from Pontiac, Michigan. It's Metro Detroit area. Originally from Pontiac, Michigan. Played under Ron Bellamy in the West Bloomfield Laker program for 2 years. And my dad is from down here in Tennessee. He's from a little town down here called Rockwood. So we picked up at the end of my sophomore year, moved down here, and I go to the Webb School of Knoxville now.
Okay, so relocated down to Tennessee, man. You know, Tennessee is my favorite places. We before this pandemic, we were going down to the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, a couple times a year, going to Nashville. So it's a good time, man. But nonetheless, let's get into your story, right? And why you jumped on the show. So before we get into kind of memory road, right? Down in Tennessee, you were fortunate enough to have a football season, right?
Yes, we did. It kind of stretched out a little bit. Everybody was kind of gluing their eyes to Twitter, looking at the governor and seeing when is he going to sign this bill. But as soon as he did, it was 2 weeks until our first game, so we got to work. But even before the pandemic and everything, even with the pandemic going, I knew that I had a feeling in my gut that we were going to have a football season, and I never believed that we weren't going to have one because football is just the thing here down south, and people love their football down here. So I prepared and I did whatever I needed to do to get ready. So when the time did come to when he signed the bill for us to play, we were all together. I was ready to go, and I was ready to get the season started.
Nah, man, I'm with it. So how'd your individual season go for you?
This year I ended up being first team all region, made all county, all city. Unfortunately, I missed all state by I feel like if I had a couple more stacks or something like that, I would have got all state. But I just missed all state this year. But it was really good. I finished with 41 tackles total, 15 for loss, and 3.5 sacks. So I think for a defensive tackle, we moved around a lot in our system. So I played three, I played end, I played one technique, I played nose guard. So I played all over the line. I think those are pretty productive stats. But for this year, we just came off a losing season last year. We went 3-6. So for me, my main focus going into this year, I was like, I already got offers. The stuff already came for me. I want to win ball games because I want to go out on a high note my senior year and make a run for state, and that's what every senior wants. So that's more of my focus was. So it was sacrifice for the greater good of everybody else. So it was let's go win ball games. That was my focus this year.
Okay, so go out there and win some ball games, and then I'm not sure if you said, but how the team finish as a whole? What was the record?
Oh, we finished 5-4, so a 2-win swing from last year. We made some strides. We got some new additions. You're gonna have Brady McCoy actually later on the podcast. He was one of our really good additions that we got, and he balled out. We got some young freshmen in there, and they balled out, and they got good playing time. They helped us as a whole to be better. And we ended up losing in that first round of the playoffs to Good Pasture Christian, and they're out of Nashville, Tennessee. And it was a close one till the end. We tied it up, and then they hit us with a long deep ball, and we ended up losing 28-21. But I think this year we created a new culture for the kids at our school, for the younger kids who are coming up to play football, to kind of follow. It's, sacrifice, do your job, and focus on winning ball games instead of the individual achievements.
There you go. Good deal, man. So had an overall much better year. Added a few pieces, to the puzzle that we're missing, and
Yep.
obviously, your time has, come to an end at high school. As far as
Yeah.
football, right? And hopefully, you left something with them to remember and build on, right?
Yes, sir.
Good deal, man. So let's get into the fun part, man. Let's talk about the memory road, right? Let's talk about at what point did you start playing ball, and then kind of walk me through your football career, man, all the way up to what led you to Pikesville.
Yes, sir. So I've been my dad. I love my dad to death. My dad's been there every step of the way for me. Both parents have, both my mom and my dad. They've always been there. But my first love actually wasn't football. It was basketball. I love basketball. I love basketball to this day. And I started playing basketball, and I played both sports. I ran a little bit of cross country. I did a little bit of it all. So uh, I started off basketball all the way up until about eighth grade. I thought, man, I really want to do this basketball thing. I love basketball. And then my eighth grade year, I really didn't want to play football once I got to Abbott Middle School. And they were like, you should just try it. My dad was like, either, I want you to play a fall sport. So I was like, all right, let's do football. And I ended up playing defensive tackle eighth grade year and running back. So, I enjoyed it. It was fun. And, it was just a great experience. And it got the love of the game. I found the love of the game for football again. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to play basketball too. So you transition to the end of eighth grade year, and West Bloomfield and Coach Bellamy, we are all in that same school district. And, you see the culture that that he built at West Bloomfield. He was sending multiple kids to play Division I football, multiple kids just go play college football, and giving them opportunities to be great. So I really did enjoy that, and I really liked it. And, it kind of bought me in a little bit more. And I was like, oh, look, I'm going to have an opportunity if I go here to this school. So I ended up going to West Bloomfield. Freshman year went really, really well. And I loved basketball and football. And I kept playing AAU basketball too until the end of my freshman year, going into sophomore year. And then I realized, and I had to sit down and talk with my dad and a little bit with my brother, who is a running backs coach right now at ETSU. So we had a little talk, and he was like, this football thing's going to take you farther than this basketball thing. You're only 5'9", 5'10". And if you're not one of those 30, 40 point a game guys as a basketball player, then you're not really going to get as many opportunities. So I was like, okay, so I really kind of focused in on football. I focused in on football, started the beginning of my sophomore year, working out 2-3 times a day, riding my bike to school, work out with the defensive line, work out in the weight room, ride my bike back home. And I really got an appreciation and enjoyment for the game and just the amount of work that everybody put in to, make a team great, to make a program great. And sophomore year, I started on JV. We were a really good team. And actually, a lot of us ended up getting moved up. So I ended up getting moved up to varsity, getting a little bit of time. My sophomore year, played in a couple playoff games. And, my parents kind of dropped that bomb at the end of my sophomore year. They're like, hey, we're moving to Tennessee, 8 hours away. And it kind of took me by surprise. And I was kind of upset because I was like, I had a really good opportunity to get some great playing time as a junior on a team that's one of the best teams in the state. So I was like, okay, it's going to be a change. And mind you, I was playing at West Bloomfield in Michigan. They're the top classification in the state. So it goes from Division I all the way to Division VIII. So It was, it was a little change. And I came down to this little itty bitty school, Webb School of Knoxville, and they're playing private school ball. And, I'm playing for a legendary head coach, Coach Meskey. He's won 8 state titles. He's had 2 or 3 All-American players. He sends kids off to go play football at the ETSUs, the UTs, the Vanderbilts, the UTCs. So, and when I got here, I kind of inhabited a team who they were a senior heavy team, and a lot of those seniors, the seniors had left. So we are kind of my junior year, we were kind of trying to find our identity, and we did, and we ended up finding our identity, in the off season of that junior year. But junior year went well. I made a lot of friends. It was a change going from public school to private school, and I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoy it down here still. We're close towards me graduating, but I've made a lot of friends and made a lot of connections with people, and I've really enjoyed it down here. And so that's when it started my recruiting process. So at the end of my junior year, I really wanted to get serious about this recruiting thing. I wanted to go to college to play football. I knew that. So I talked to my dad, and he was like, yes, this is the things we need to do. We need to go camping. You need to build your brand on Twitter. You need to talk to coaches. You need to make sure your grades are staying up. And what a lot of people don't know is my dad's a school principal too. And he's been my coach and the school principal. So the grades, they have to stay up. There's no choice there. And so I went to Coach Mesky, and I was like, hey, Coach, these are kind of the schools that I want to go to and on what I'm looking at. And he was like, I'll get in contact. Just keep doing your thing. Keep playing. I'm going to be your advocate. If you just keep doing the right things, keep doing the right things. Keep sitting in the front of the classes. Keep making the good grades. Keep being a leader in the weight room all season, football, So I started getting, the pandemic hit. I went through January workouts, February workouts, and March was when we went on spring break. And I went down to Florida for spring break, came back up, and that's when we stopped going to school, and everything was all online and virtual.
Everything shut down, man.
Yeah, and I was, it kind of took me by surprise because I didn't know what COVID was, that sort of thing. I was just in Florida a couple of days ago. I was like, I don't know what COVID is, right? So when that happened, it was at first, everything shuts down, so it's hard to find places to work out, things like that. And my brother came back home from college, and and I really thank him, and I appreciate the things that he's done for me too, because he's pushed me to go find places to go work out. We've gone to numerous fields. We were at Catholic. We were at my school at Webb. We were at Farragut, at Hardin Valley. We were at West. We were at Bearden. We were like a lot of Knoxville area schools we were going to just to find a field to go work out, go get in shape, go get work in. I'd go to my uncle's house and go lift, and because he had weights and those type of things. So I was trying to find everything I possibly could to stay in shape and be ready. It even got to a point where I was out in the apartment parking lot of the apartment where we lived in, and I was pushing my dad's Hummer. When he had it in neutral, and I was pushing my dad's Hummer up and down the street. I was finding every little thing to try to get better.
There you go.
And, that's when, the recruiting started, and coaches were like, hey, we're looking at you. We really like your film, that sort of thing. And it went into April, and I got my first offer April. It was either 17th or 18th. And it's from a Division III school in Indiana called Trine University. And I got it at about 12 a.m. And they were like, we really liked your film. They sent me the whole thing about what D3 schools are, and they can't give athletic scholarships, but they can give roster spots. They can give aid and grant, that sort of thing.
Sure.
So that was my first offer. And then after that, it kind of just, the floodgates kind of opened when it came to recruiting, because it was one after the other, after the other, after the other. It was just schools. I got after that first offer, 5 hours later, when I woke back up to go to school, Mount St. Joseph, they offered me. So it kind of just opened the floodgates a little bit. And in July, I had about 12, 13 offers at that point, late July, going into August, when they signed the bill and we're getting ready for our games. I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I want to get more towards the scholarship offer, scholarship-wise schools, because, I felt like I could play at that level. To be honest, I thought I could play at the Division I level, because that's just the type of confidence I had about my game. So I was like, I want to get towards these scholarship schools, so I can start getting scholarship schools will start being cheaper. So I got into a couple contact with Mid-South schools, Bethel University in McKenzie, Tennessee. I got in contact with the University of Pikeville, and I got in contact with a couple of schools in the Mid-South Conference, Campbellsville. And, as it went on, it looks like, those times where I was like, you know what, I don't know if they're going to offer or not, you know, I had a little, sometimes I had doubts, sometimes it was, hey, I don't know if I'm going to get offered. I don't know if they're going to look at me and be like, hey, this is a guy that we want in our program. But, towards the end of our football season and after our football season is kind of when those schools were like, hey, we'll offer you a scholarship. And at first it was Campbellsville, and then it was UPIKE. And kind of what drew me to UPIKE a little bit, I got in contact with Coach Anderson. He's the defensive coordinator there, and he recruits the East Tennessee region of our state. So I got in contact with him, and he ended up coming down to my school. And, with COVID, a lot of coaches weren't able to travel and go see kids. And I think that was one of those things that kind of stood out to me as, hey, he wants me in his program. He thinks, I fit in this program, right? So he came to the web school in Knoxville. We sat down, had a good conversation, lasted about 15, 20 minutes. And he was like, we really want you here, get applied, get your FAFSA in, do these things. And, a scholarship offer will be coming your way soon. So I got everything done, and, offers are still rolling in. I got Lawrence Tech, a school in Michigan that I lived down the street from when I was still living there. And, that December morning, I remember I woke up and he texted me. He was like, hey, we got all your stuff in, I'm excited to extend you a scholarship offer. And I that was one of those offers I really got excited about. And I was like, you know what, they're one of my top choices right now as far as schools go. So,
and was that a full ride, or was that just a
with NAIA schools, I don't think they can give full scholarships. It was, most of my school was paid for. I think I only had to pay $6,000 out of pocket, and my parents pay more for me to go to the web school, not for a private school, than it would for me to just go to University of Pikeville. Okay. So it made a lot of sense. And then towards the end of my recruitment, going into January, this past month, I took one more recruiting trip and I went back to Michigan. Okay. And
was it what, or were you able to actually fly out there and visit on site?
I was actually, me and my mom, we actually drove up to Michigan and visited those schools on site, and it was fun. It's only an 8-hour drive. It's not that bad. But we got up there, and the great part about it was, Michigan high school football was still playing. So my school and my teammates that I used to have and kids in my class, they were still playing, they were still practicing. So I took my visit to Lawrence Tech, and then later in the day I went back up to my old high school and they let me in and I saw everybody, and it was a really good time. And everybody said that they missed me and they're proud of me and that sort of thing. And it was fun. And then I went to Concordia, Ann Arbor, another NAIA school who offered me when I was on campus. The head coach sat me and my mother down and we talked a little bit, and we came to a decision, and we were like, hey, you got everything in, you did what you were supposed to do, we're going to offer. So that was a good thing. And basically my final three at that point was the University of Pikeville, Lawrence Tech University, and Concordia Ann Arbor, my bad. So I came back down to Michigan, I came back down to Tennessee. I talked it out with my parents, and they were like, and they said at the end of the day, this is your decision. This is going to affect you for the rest of your life, where you go, that sort of thing. And I really sat down and I was like, Pikeville's only 3 hours away. Y'all can still come to my games. It's a great education. It's a great atmosphere. I went up on my visit a couple weeks before I went to Michigan, and it was great. I loved it. So I was like, you know what? This is the school. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to go. So I ended up committing to the University of Pikeville January 18th on Martin Luther King Day. And, and I've been trying to, I've talked to Coach Anderson a little bit after, and they're excited to have me. I've built relationships with the other commits. We got our group chat on Snapchat, and we talk in there and things of that nature. So it's been fun. It's been fun. And side note, the day, I think it was a couple days before or a couple days after I committed. I think it was a day before. My old school ended up winning the state championship in Michigan. So, and one of my good friends, one of my good buddies, Donovan, he's going to play football at the University of Michigan. He just got his 5th star and he ended up winning Mr. Football. So yeah. So, overall, it's been a great experience. I loved it. I've loved it so far, and I'm just ready to get started. I've been working out lately, and I'm just ready to get started at the University of Pikeville.
There you go, my man. So I appreciate that, man. You literally took us, from start to finish. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So in Pikeville is that in Tennessee still, or is that out of state?
Pikeville is in Kentucky. It's
Okay.
On the right tip of Kentucky.
Gotcha. So overall, you're building the brotherhood. You said you got the Snapchat group messages. You're already basically on campus virtually, right?
Yeah. Basically, even now, with school still going on and the pandemic still going on, I'll be we do a thing called AB days. So we'll do one day I'll be on campus and the next day I won't. I go every other day to school. So some days I'll be at home and I'll do all my classes online, and another day I'll be all in school and I'll do all my classes in person. So
Okay. So when are you're signing your letter of intent on signing day, or have you already?
Yeah, I'm planning on signing on February 3rd. I actually just got done talking and messaging with Coach Anderson. They're sending a little package for me, a little signing day package. So they're sending me a shirt, a hat, and a couple other things. And then they're sending me my national letter of intent. They're sending it through email right here right here. It might be either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure, but yeah, everything's in line for me to sign on signing day February 3rd. So I'm really excited.
Super exciting, man. And then graduate high school in what, May time frame?
Yep, early May, early May.
Yep. And then if all goes well, be on campus in what, mid July?
Yep, mid July. I want to get on campus as soon as possible. I'm
Just
really
be out there,
excited
right?
about this. Yeah, I'm ready to compete. I'm ready to compete.
Yeah, man. I'm sure you're in the same situation as everybody, man. Everybody's ready to put some pads on and go play some ball and do what they enjoy doing and get their mind right, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. So look, I definitely appreciate you, jumping on it and sharing, your story because, I think it's pretty powerful and I think it can definitely inspire and impact, others in your similar situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, folks are looking for that first blessing and they're feeling a little discouraged or a little bit down, and hopefully they get to listen to your story and know that there are opportunities out there. You just have to be willing to put that work in, right?
Yep. Yes,
Cool,
sir.
man. So I appreciate it. I'm gonna close it out with the same question I do every single time. And if you've seen any videos, you already know what it is. But that question is what motivates and what drives you to want to wake up tomorrow and be that much more successful than you were today.
It's just it's a part of me that doesn't want to let my family down because they've put so much in for me to be a successful young man, and the time, effort, energy, and sacrifice that they've had to do over the 18 years I've been living. That's part of me. Another part of me is I just want to be great. This is something that I love. I put countless hours into this, so I just want to be great. I want to be great.
Look, man, and you've got all the right pieces to be great. So keep doing what you do. All right.
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. So look, I appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate you sharing the story. Stay safe, stay healthy. For all the viewers out there, continue to blow this thing up. Continue to share all across your platforms. I don't care what social media it is. Feel free to tag us on Twitter. Feel free to tag us on Instagram. Until next time, man, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm Rob Odie. This was Spotlight 39, and we'll chat, all right?
Yes, sir.